So hi guys, it's RoboPhil from Robot Philosophy. Today we got Roy from Temi and Robocore, who's going to give us an overview of the products and services that he does, as well as some very, very big news. Roy, thanks for joining us. Please just give us like an overview about yourself and give us a little bit of clarity for what you do and the businesses that you run.
Sure. So I'm Roy. I'm the CEO of Robocore. Before I started Robocore, actually, we came from a family business that does a lot of factory automation. So we were the largest Mitsubishi distributor in China. So we basically sell Mitsubishi products. We add some functionality into it and then help the factories automate their manufacturing lines. That has been going on since my father's time for 48 years. Now, when I graduated from the United States, I came back and then I thought, why is it so boring? Why is the automation only in the factories? Why is it not helping our families? So I kind of started this living or something that is more close to us. We use robot arms to make coffee. We use robots to make pizza. And then we actually opened up another company called L2F in San Francisco. So at that time, we actually grew that company very fast and then sold it in 5 years because our revenue grew 18 times and sold it to the largest food manufacturing, food machinery companies in the United States. So after that, I came back to Hong Kong. I'm not done yet. So in 2018, I opened Robocore.
Yep.
Robocore basically is the company with the automation capability in our indoor areas.
Right, no, so that sounds great. So obviously, as you said, you've deployed it into schools, into healthcare, into customer businesses. So there's a full different array there. And I think what we've seen here in the UK is that we are exploring those markets as well, but they're probably not as I suppose advanced or used to having robots into those environments. So I think from our side, from in the UK point of view, it's more of like we're still on the education phase and the finding the solution phase. So but yeah, it's fascinating to actually understand that you're deploying these robots in so many different fields, really. I mean, so what would you say sort of out of all those customers, is there sort of three main problems that they try to address? What would you say that the three biggest problems are with service robotics or without having a service robot is?
So I think right now in healthcare, particularly, people are not doing things that they are expertise in. They are not helping people. They are not feeding people. They are not changing the diaper of elderly people. They are carrying a phone and then hold it in front of the elderly people and then ask them to talk to their family. They should not be a tripod. They are very professional nurses. So we are trying to figure out which part of their job is repetitive, is not meant to be done by them, and we replace those with robots. So what we are doing a lot in the hospital is, let's say in the morning, we wake up everyone in their bed, particularly people who are having dementia. So we remind them what's their name, how many daughter and son they have, where they are, what's their favorite food. So information that they need every morning. So we tell them from bed to bed. Everyone has different answers for the information. So that's what we are doing. And then later in the day, we remind everyone to wash their hands. And then later in the day, we ask people to leave because it's past the visiting time. And then later in the day, we have a scheduled call between the elderly and their families. So during these whole scheduled jobs for our robot, we also put some sensors on top of the robot, which is
Mm.
powered by the robot, of course. For example, I can smell feces, I can smell urine, I can detect body temperature. So I'm doing some automation stuff as well while I'm serving the active purpose. So yeah, we are doing a lot of uh, repetitive jobs that should not be done by nurses, and we are squishing all these multiple tasks into one robot, and that makes the hospital happy because they are spending just one-time cost with sensors, with the software, and then we solved all the problems. And these are solutions that are very easy to implement. We are not doing complicated stuff. We are not connecting to the patient management system. We are not distributing medicine, which is risky. So we are just doing very simple stuff that the nurses don't want to do. And then that helps them spare the time to do the proper stuff.
Right, thank you. Yeah, no, that's a great overview, and it actually sits alongside sort of the three principles that we look through. So we have a thing called like our ROI principle, and basically the first one is R, which stands for resources. So as you said, like you don't want the nurse doing silly jobs, you know, like you don't want her to walk around the hospital carrying stuff which can easily be carried by a robot. You don't want her, as you said, like holding up a camera just so the family can see the actual patient. So that's a big one for us. The second one is obviously the optimization phase. So obviously using that technology for a lot of optimization around the hospital tasks and that. And the last one is actually the innovation side. So that's the sensors, you know, actually adding more sensors to the robot so it can do a lot more things, again assisting with the actual nursing role. So and as you said, the problem, it really does solve a problem. I mean, we saw a thing added on top of that where they want the patients to do exercises, because what happens is that the patient is in bed all day, and then you end up getting like muscle fatigue and all sorts of other sort of muscle problems because they're not using the muscle. So one of the applications that you could do with Temi as well is you could have the Temi go up and go through an exercise routine. That person has to go through an exercise routine, you know, even if it's just a simple lifting up the arm or leg. And then the Temi will assess if they've done the routine and then report back to the nurse that they've done that routine. So again, yeah, they're like helping people out. So that's very, very interesting. I mean, on the school side, is it how are you seeing them being used in schools?
In schools, there are a bunch of different jobs that the Temi is doing again. First and most popularly, they are using the robot as a STEM education tool. So because of our openness, we connected our robots with MIT Scratch, with some Python programming, with some very simple drag and drop programming in Temi Center. And now they have this whole easy way to teach people how to manage a robot. So primary schools, secondary schools, or even university, they are making their own curriculum to learn how robots are used and how they can help businesses in the future. In Singapore University, we are even having a specific course that they have to learn how to use Temi before they graduate. They can get 2.5 credits out of 50 credits from that course in the MBA course. But that's only one way to use Temi. Temi is also being a security guard at night because we have the video camera, we can use analytics, we can put external infrared camera for night vision, and then we can detect if there are some people suspicious, or we can see if somebody fell on the floor not responding, or some dangerous items being put left over on the floor nobody is carrying, suitcases or stuff, or we can detect fire, smoke, and a bunch of things that can be analyzed with video analytics nowadays. And then we are also using the Temi for the students to help their parents. So sometimes the students are programming the Temi in Parents' Day, and they can guide their parents to the specific spot, to the STEM room, to the music room, and these are actual replacement of some human jobs that are dangerous. So we did not know about that, but usually, if I am the guide of a tour, I would walk forward and you will follow me. But now Temi can actually walk backward and play a video and then introduce all the stuff while you are watching the screen. This is extremely dangerous if you're doing it as a human because you're walking backward and you will fall, you will bump into stuff. So this has been a very, very attractive way to use our robots. Not even in schools, but also in exhibitions, in museums, so the Temi is moving backward and then introducing a lot of stuff to the customers.
Wow. Yeah, what you said, there's lots of applications there. I mean, I think the school one's interesting because I think as robotics and AI are coming into our lives now, I think we need to be teaching more kids about robots, how to use them, how to interact with them. And as you said, it looks like Temi's a good platform, especially to learn the basic movement side. Obviously, Temi's got the ability to be like an autonomous robot, which is actually the fundamental basis of most robots. Like a robot really needs to move to really be a robot within a service space. And the security one is interesting as well. I've actually spoken to some security companies, and from a safety side, if they send a robot down to inspect something, first of all, you're getting the time saving and you're getting obviously that remote presence. But then if there is any trouble, what the security guys were saying was that, oh, look, if someone attacks the robot and the robot gets broke, then they actually said that's obviously a lot better than a person getting attacked instead. So they're very keen to protect their staff. So again, from the safety point of view, it actually is a tool to actually keep the security team safer. And I think just going back to AI, I mean, now we are coming into more of the agency AI and general AI. I think this is where we're going to see a lot more robots start to use that technology. And so we need to have these platforms to actually, use them in the physical world, whether that's at home or it's at the airport, or as you said, like exhibitions. We can really start to combine these technologies together, and we need the best platforms to actually get that going. So yeah, no, it sounds it's some great examples there. So I'm curious, obviously Temi we got is like a meet and greet robot, which is at the smaller size. So tell me a little bit more about the other types of robots that you guys do as well.
So other than the Temi V3, which is the smallest robot in the world, actually, we have a 35 cm diameter chassis, and that's very small. But we also have this platform, which is larger and can carry 100 kg of stuff. So that one, we have built it into an advertising robot. Which has four sides, big screens, and then four projectors for advertising. And then we built another inspection robot, which has this little sensor box that can go all the way up to 2 meters high. And that is good for like a supermarket shelf inspection, knowing which product is sold out, and then you replenish them. Or you can go for detection of radiation up top, or detection of light bulbs outage. All these stuff can be done with the Blackjack, which is our inspection robot. And then we also have the delivery robot, whether it is covered, like with 4 doors, 4 compartments, or open, which is just the Temigo with a few shelves for putting food on top. These are the products that we make. However, we also offer our platform completely naked to our customers. So they can also think of different ways to use our platform. For example, Coca-Cola has put a bottle on top. So this big bottle can move around, carrying stuff for the customers. Now there are wine bottles, there are alcohol, there are drinks, there are also big lions, tigers, so anything that people can imagine that goes with their brand will help them co-brand their products, while that little mascot can move around their showroom. So it's very open. We have all kinds of size. We have all kinds of look. We are trying to get into more customized robots so that our customer can sell their brands. And yeah, in terms of functionality, we are also adding more functions according to the customer's need. If they need a radiation sensor, we can put it in and replace their human carrying a radiation sensor.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you got a platform which is obviously you can adapt to the customer's needs and the customer's like solutions. And I think that branding one sounds good. I'll put up the videos for the Coca-Cola one so people can see that. But from you know, if you're a big brand and you're looking to stand out in a big retail environment, what you normally do is you normally have to pay for the ends of the aisles, because that's where I've been told is the most expensive part to put all your products. But this gives an extra benefit really, so you can be end of the aisle, plus you can be literally moving around the aisles with a mascot, which is your mascot, which is going to make you stand out completely. So that's a great advantage to have. And then obviously the Temi Go with 100-kilo weight, or 50 to 100-kilo weight, then again in hospitals and healthcare, that's perfect for transportation of food, transportation of waste, transportation of clothing. And again, so stopping the nurses doing those sort of boring repetitive tasks, and then they can focus on doing their main role, being the nurse for the patient, while the robots are going around doing all the work in the hospital. So yeah, no, it's good. I think you got a good an array of platforms there, and of course the digital signage one, so events and exhibitions. And again, it's a perfect marketing tool. I can see that obviously in malls, in galleries, and in retail shopping units, where again advertisers can work with it to advertise certain products and services, and it's moving around. And even that can be used as a safety tool. If someone is in a mall and they're lost or something, or they have some problems, they can probably tap the button, get through to a member of the team, and then they can communicate literally then and there, instead of getting lost. So yeah, no, it sounds good from that point of view. So I mean, I suppose the big thing then is obviously, so Temi's been around and growing in different markets, but now we've got some bigger news, as we touched on earlier, about obviously some work with Foxconn and an IPO. So it'd be great to understand how that all came around. Yeah.
Sure. So there's one more very important usage that I intentionally skipped until now, which is telemedicine. So in the United States, we actually use our robots for connecting the doctors and the patients through telemedicine. So the doctor, they basically sit on their desk or in the clinic without needing to drive to anywhere. And then on the nursing homes, we put in some Temi robot, one per floor. And then when somebody called the doctors, a patient's got sick and they call the doctor can just press one button. The robot will move next to their bed, and then the conversation will start. Our robot is also built in with the stethoscope, the blood pressure sensor, sonogram, and a bunch of other sensors. So the patient can easily serve themselves, or if they cannot move around freely, we can send some low-level helper to help them, and then all that information will be played live to the doctor while they are having video conference. And this actually help the doctor to see the patient within 2 minutes instead of 4 hours normally. And then the doctor also can see 50 patients per day instead of five, because they don't need to travel. And this actually has another huge benefit for the insurance company, because in America, if you call for a doctor and the doctor send an ambulance to your nursing home, it will cost $1,200. And then when you get to the emergency room, it's another $6,000. So the insurance company, they don't want to pay that anymore. So they give some benefit to telemedicine provider like us. They will pay us about $30 per visit between the patient and the doctors, and that's where our income come from. So we basically using this insurance company coverage, we are able to give these robots for free to all these nursing home around America, and then we get our money back slowly. But in order to do this, we have to build, manufacture all these
Mm.
robots first. So we
Yeah.
talked to on this is a huge opportunity. The ROI is only 3 months, and after 3 months, it's all profit. So what if you invest into us and then immediately use your money, put it back into your factory in Taipei, and then you manufacture 10,000 units for us. And then I ship all of them to the nursing home in USA, and we all earn money together. And they accepted that. So now we have a new factory. Instead of only the factory we had in Dongguan, now we have also a Taipei Foxconn factory sites, and they are helping us to build more robots, ramping up every day. And then we are planning to have at least 200 to 500 robots per month coming from there. And then we'll help all 30,000 nursing homes in the United States. So yeah, that's the vision we have. This is a 3-year plan, and we hope we can achieve a lot of sales, a lot of profits, and then we can help more people in the future, including 80,000 more elderly homes, because 30,000 is just nursing home. There are
Yeah.
80 elderly home, and we are only talking about America. So we still need to serve Europe, Japan, many countries where the age is getting older and older.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that sounds like a great journey, really. As you said, like you've really, I think one of the main things about that is that you found a perfect application. And then obviously then you've gone to get the investment. And I think that's the key thing about robots. I've seen a lot of robots sort of come out and they're looking for a solution. But obviously you found an application, a solution, and then obviously brought the robot into that. So it's actually going to be doing a job, and it's actually going to be very useful. And it's something that we're also working on, funny enough, with the so we've done a few test projects with the Temi in regards to vision and skin care. So essentially we went to an eye hospital, and with some of the more generic eye conditions, it only requires just a video call, just as we're having today, for the doctor to assess the patient. So we set it up where the robot was going around to the different wards and different units. He would go in there, the robot would see a patient, and the doctor could be on the other side of the hospital or in a completely different hospital. They would just have to have a quick video call, and then the patient would go up close to the camera, they could scan the eyes, and then the doctor could make an assessment. So again, using that time-saving thing. And then and obviously from that, with AI and technology, that's going to be even more easier to do. And then the other new one is it's for moles. So essentially, if you have a strange mark on your skin or somewhere, you can literally take you can put that up to the camera, or you take a little device that's attached to the Temi robot to actually scan the mole, and then that can detect what is actually that mole is, if there's a problem with it, if it's a safe mole. And it goes to the benefit of you were saying earlier about having the robot with lots of tools on as well. So essentially it's an autonomous tool that moves around from patient to patient, and you can try different things and essentially speed up the process and make healthcare a little bit better. So but that's fascinating about the IPO. Yeah. I mean, and then I suppose for the other robots, they're all using the same software, so everything's integratable, and you got sort of a much bigger piece there. Just out of curiosity, are you looking at any like outside robots? Obviously, you've got the inside ones. Is the company looking at like an outside like robot type of product?
You mean the outdoor robot or other
Yeah,
brands?
yeah, yeah,
We are
yeah. So like,
actually
robot.
we are actually not only selling Temi because there's so much we can do. We are just 80 people in our company, but our customers, they always need a full solution. So what we have built is not just the robot itself, not just the hardware, but a platform that runs with all kinds of robots, sensors, and elevators. So this platform is called Spine, and this platform actually works with different brands of robots. The reason why we can build this is because other than the distributor of Temi, I also signed up as the distributor of Yunji, Pudu, and a bunch of other robots. And
Okay.
we actually got the API, or we actually work inside the system to connect all these robots together. Now, in our dashboard, we can move these robots according to the map. We can see all their locations. We can command them to do stuff. And then we can also connect them with the elevator modules that we have built. And now these robots can move on to different floors themselves. And at the same time, we work with IoT products, we work with sensors. So the robot knows where to report the sensors reading, or where to interact with the CCTV. If the CCTV sees a pile of coffee on the floor, then the robot will go to that exact location and clean up, stuff like that. So we work with a lot of robot companies, both indoor and outdoor, because there are a lot of large building with a garden behind them, or some outdoor walking pathways and stuff like that. So we also have security robots that works
Mm.
outdoor. We
Okay.
have a garbage picking robot that works outdoor, and
Okay.
every one of these robots connect to the spine systems. And this is how we win large tender of hospitals or smart building easily. And these robot company, they actually join us as the go-to platform, because we were the first to create this platform, and then we were the first to succeed and deploy this platform into multiple locations in Hong Kong, and then now we are in Thailand, we are in America. So yeah, we got fast, and then we became a small ecosystem ourselves.
Wow. No, that sounds very impressive. Yeah, and it's what you need really, like a backbone for all the robots to work on. And it sounds like you've pieced that together. So that's very interesting. Yeah, you have to keep me posted with that. Yeah, I'll be very curious about how how it all works. But I think for the smart city infrastructure, which all the cities are going for now, like you need, you need a good backbone to run everything. What you don't want is multiple robots and multiple different vendors. You want to have one strong software platform that actually manages multiple robots. So yeah, it sounds like you got that one sorted. We were first introduced to Temi robots in the home. So give us an overview of what how Temi's work in a home environment.
So after about 8 years now, since Temi was founded, we finally found the best way to use Temi inside households. We are actually now working with a big Chinese company to put all our robots into our households, like the people who are living alone at home, mostly elderly, and then these robots will be following them or patrolling around the house, and then doing something that's called vlog. It's like our car camera.
Hmm.
We take video recording of everything, and then when something happens, like if she falls down, or if the elderly people get uh, lose their temper, then we will play the event 5 minutes before event until 5 minutes after event to their daughters or sons, and
Mm.
they actually derive what's happened to their parents. Like, was it the sunset, sunshine coming through the windows, or was it someone drilling next to your house from a renovation, or is it smelly feces coming around the door? So we will have these information, and you will be able to take care of your parents, sometimes maybe having dementia, and you will understand them more. And through these robots, we can, of course, also remind them how to take medicine, let them play Netflix and walk around following them while they are having their normal living, or they can do a lot of stuff with that screen inside the house. So that's what we are doing. We are manufacturing 10,000 of these robots for the Chinese company. And yeah, they are satisfied because we keep the price down, we keep the function high, and then they are allowed to build on top of our open platform. They put their own software in, and now the robot is becoming very, very multitasking and robust.
Wow, yeah. I mean, and I think for people with dementia or old age, and then you can what I've been doing actually recently is you can play a lot of games, you know, mind memory games and like dementia games, you know, to keep them astute. So I think and it's been shown that that sort of activity can help with their dementia and help with keeping them well. And then one of the other examples I've seen is families or people with wheelchairs at home. So they were using some Temi robots to basically move their food and move items around the house. Because at the moment, if you're in a wheelchair, you have to wheel yourself into the kitchen. You have to make your food. You have to put your food either on your lap and then wheel it back, and then occasionally you end up with the food on the floor. So we've seen examples of where the food is made, and then you can place the food onto the back of the Temi, and then essentially just call the robot in to the room, like with your food, you know, and various other things. So it's like a small form of like autonomous or a small form of automation for your house, which, you know, if you use in the right areas, can be really, really practical. So no, it's interesting to hear about the homes. So what would be the next steps? Like, how would we get to have a Temi? How can we use the software? How can we just get involved?
So we have more applications than ever now. We have more than 2,000 developers working for us, with us actually. These applications are in all kinds of industry. It's in hospitality, it's in education, it's for home use. So there are a lot of different functions that nowadays, if you buy a Temi robot, you can get for your own use. But at the same time, because of our open platform, we kind of started researching something that is self-programmed. So
Hmm.
let's say I have my camera, I can see the environment in front of me. I can derive, according to the recommendation of a generative AI, what should be done next. And then these AI can also program with my own programming language. Basically, use my open platform, use my SDK, and then program myself to do whatever the generative AI thinks I should do. For example, I see somebody in front of me carrying a lot of bags. Now, I can derive that he is feeling heavy, he wants some help, and then I can move forward to him and say, put your stuff on me, I will follow you. This will be something that the robot will do themselves in the future. And we are putting all these to a huge database. It's actually generating different gesture, different sequence routines all by itself now. We don't know what will be the outcome, but I think it will be helpful. And it will only help people because we have generative AI behind us and a lot of data from outside to tell us that if this gesture, this movement is actually helping or not.
Wow, wow, that's definitely sounds like a great next step. I mean, if you can get a robot that can essentially look and see what's going on and then make a determination of how it can help, then that's fantastic. Yeah, yeah, and that's when I suppose we're getting closer to Star Wars and Star Trek, like sort of level of robots. So yeah, yeah.
Other than other than hurting people, you can do anything.
Yeah. No, that's very impressive. Yeah, and as you said, and then I suppose that makes the coding like a lot easier as well. Because like when I first started doing robots, you had to do a lot of coding just to do something simple. But as AI's come out, it makes it really easy. And now you can essentially just talk to the robot, and the robot will start to understand you. And then that is a really like a high level thing. So a lot easier to deploy as well. I think in over in sort of Europe and the UK, the more simple it is to deploy these things, so customers can use them, because customers are busy, they've got lots of other jobs going on at the same time, and if they can just have a tool that they can use, they can easily get it to do tasks, and that's perfect for getting that optimization really. So. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a great overview. It's been a great overview. So like, give us like the overall sort of final picture that you really want for these robots.
So from day one, I actually want the robots to be next to us, even if we are at home or in the hospital or at school. So that's my vision. I want our robots to be on the floor, helping more people. As people get older every day, we want these robots to share the work of the people who are taking care of the elderly people, and we want these robots to be really useful. They have to be durable, they have to be energy saving, and they have to know exactly what to do at what time. So that's the vision. I want to spread it out with Foxconn's help to manufacture as many robots as they can to help us. And then we want everyone to be helped by a robot. And we don't want to make it very, very techy. We don't want to make something that is too expensive. We want it to be affordable so everyone has access to it. So that's my vision, and it really helps that we have a strong manufacturer behind us.
Yeah, and obviously Foxconn are known throughout the world for basically manufacturing and deploying technologies that we all use today. So it sounds like you got a great partner there, a fantastic partner. And then for Temi, like where's the best place to find you? I'm guessing it's the Temi website that we can direct everyone towards.
Yes, there's a Temi website, there's a Temi LinkedIn. We always post our activities there, and join our webinar. We are holding one webinar per month. And yes, please know more about us, and then we can show you our new invention every time when we meet.
Right, perfect. Well, thanks for your time today, Roy. It's very much appreciated, and really appreciate the overview. Thank you.
Thank you.